Hello everyone, I am CA of Preet and welcome back to our channel Being CA with Preet. Today, we are going to discuss another important topic, that is TDS implications on rent paid to NRI. Yes, there is a TDS implication whenever you make a payment to an NRI. बहुत से लोगों को ये नहीं पता होता है कि NRI को रेंट का पेमेंट करने पे TDS की लाइबिलिटी आती है. So, today in this video, we'll be covering each and everything that you need to know while you are making a payment to an NRI. So let's get started. Before moving forward, let's understand first who is an NRI. NRI stands for Non-Resident Indian. As per Income Tax Act, any individual is a resident of India if he stays in India for a period of more than 182 days in the previous year, or if he has resided in India for a period of 60 days or more during the previous year, and for a period of 365 days or more during 4 immediately preceding previous years. If any of these conditions are fulfilled, then the individual is said to be the resident of India. And in case both these conditions are not fulfilled, then such person is called an NRI. Now let's understand the law regarding TDS provisions on renting a NRI property. Income Tax Act has levied TDS provisions on rent paid to NRIs in India. So जो भी tenants ने NRI owned properties rent पे ली हैं, उन्हें TDS deduct कर कर ही NRI को rent की payment करनी चाहिए. For this, tenants have to deduct TDS at the rate 31.2% of the rent while making payment of rent on NRI owned properties. Tenants also have to file Form 15CA every month after they make payment of rent to NRI. Form 15CA has to be filed online on the Income Tax portal. This form is available on the Income Tax website. Tenants have to deduct TDS and submit the aggregate amount to the tax authorities. अगर आप Form 15CA के बारे में और जानना चाहते हैं तो you can let us know in our comment section. We'll make another video for the same. One more thing, that tax deduction is mandatory in case of rent payment made to NRIs. फिर चाहे rent का amount कुछ भी हो, TDS is irrespective of the rent amount. Now the third thing that we are going to discuss is the tax rate. As I've already told you that the tax has to be deducted at the rate of 31.2% of the rent amount. This is the fixed rate of deduction that you have to make from the rent amount in all cases. पर अगर NRI landlord के पास Section 197 का सर्टिफिकेट हो, then he might be eligible for lower deduction or no deduction of TDS. इसलिए tenant को NRI landlord से ये पहले ही पूछना पड़ेगा कि उसके पास Section 197 का सर्टिफिकेट है या नहीं. Accordingly, he has to deduct TDS from their rent amount. And NRIs can apply for lower deduction certificate to avoid tax deduction before giving the property on rent to Indians. He can do so even after that whenever he comes to know about it. Although NRI LDC, that means lower deduction certificate के लिए तभी apply कर सकता है जब उसकी total income basic exemption limit से कम हो. Again, to know more about LDC and how to apply for the same, you can let us know in the comment section or you can even email us at our email ID. Now, let's discuss how to deduct this TDS from rent. Every tenant who is liable to deduct TDS from the rent amount or is paying rent to a NRI landlord has to deduct TDS. So, for that purpose, he needs to apply for TAN first. Once he gets his TAN number, he has to deduct TDS on monthly basis from the rent amount and then only he can make the remaining amount payment to the NRI. अब TDS तो deduct कर लिया है, अब उसको deposit कैसे करना है and कब तक करना है. सो जिस भी मंथ में आप TDS डिडक्ट करेंगे उसके नेक्स्ट मंथ की 7th डेट तक आपको TDS डिपॉजिट करना है. For the TDS for one particular month has to be paid till 7th of the next month. TDS should be paid on time. Now let's understand the next step. Once you have already deducted TDS and deposited the same, you will also be required to file TDS returns. I have already made a video on how to file TDS returns. You can check them out. I'll give the link in the description box. Now let's understand that what is the due date to file these TDS returns. Tenants have to file their TDS returns within a month from the end of each quarter for the TDS deducted on rent paid to NRI landlords. After filing TDS returns, he also have to issue Form 16A certificates to its landlord within 15 days from the due date of filing of TDS return. For example, for quarter April to June, tenant has to file the TDS return by 31st July and will be required to issue TDS certificate to its landlord till 15th of August. Now let's understand this whole concept of TDS deduction and deposition with the help of an example. So let's say Mr. Ajay is an NRI and he has a residential property in Mumbai. He has further let out this property to Mr. Vijay for a rent amount of 80,000 per month. While negotiating with Mr. Ajay, Mr. Vijay finds out that Mr. Ajay is an NRI. So, while making the payment of rent to Mr. Ajay, Vijay started deducting TDS at the rate of 31.2% from the rent amount payable to Mr. Ajay. So, for the month of June, he has paid the rent on 2nd of July to Mr. Ajay and deducted TDS of 25,000 from his rent on the same date. After deduction, Mr. Vijay has deposited the TDS amount within 7th August and paid the remaining amount of 55,000 to his landlord. So I guess now you are clear about TDS deduction and deposition and its due dates. Now let's discuss the last and the important part of the video, that is onus and consequences of non-deduction of TDS by the tenant. जब भी आप कोई प्रॉपर्टी रेंट पर लेते हैं तब एज अ टेनेंट इट इज़ योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू वेरीफाई दैट द लैंडलॉर्ड इज अ NRI or an Indian resident. Onus here is on the tenant. That means that TDS deduction responsibility is of the tenant. इसलिए अगर टेनेंट को पहले से ही पता हो कि लैंडलॉर्ड एक NRI है या नहीं, then he can plan accordingly and deduct and deposit the TDS on time. As a tenant, if you fail to deduct TDS on the rent payment made to an NRI, then it may also attract penalty under section 271C of Income Tax Act. इसलिए ये वीडियो एंड ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन एक टेनेंट के लिए जाननी बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है and you should also share and convey this information with the NRI landlord so that he can also understand the importance and implications of TDS. So this is all about TDS deduction on rent payment made to an NRI. Do remember that other than tax deduction and depositions, tenants also have to mandatorily file Form 15CA on the income tax portal every time he makes the rent payment to the NRI landlord. And अगर total rent per annum 5 lakh से ज़्यादा है, then the tenant also have to obtain a signed Form 15CB from a chartered accountant. I'll attach a copy of a sample Form 15CA and Form 15CB in my description box for your reference. Thanks for watching this video and supporting us. Do like, share and comment and also become more vigilant regarding such TDS implications. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel Being CA with Preet for more such informative videos. Thank you.